Then on Sports Central, we go over March Madness game preview and prediction on the round of 64 matchup between the USC Trojans and the Miami Hurricanes. Both teams have had good seasons to this point. You got USC who's 26-7 overall heading into this matchup, one of the top teams in the Pac-12 this season. And they're facing off against Miami, who's 23-10 heading into this matchup and one of the top teams in the ACC. So should make for a good matchup. We'll be going over a full game preview and prediction on this matchup here today, starting out with your team trends. USC once again 26-7 overall, 14-6 in Pac-12 play. So this team was, you could definitely say, one of the best teams in the Pac-12. I mean, you got Arizona, UCLA, and USC as the big three in the Pac-12 this season. But for USC, they were 1-4 in games against the top 25. So they did play five teams that were ranked over the course of the season, but they didn't have much success in those games. And that's kind of a reason why USC is seeded as low as they are at number 7 is because of that. But for Miami, 23-10 overall, 14-6 in ACC play, and 1-2 in games against the top 25. So in that factor, you kind of got two similar teams here. Both teams have decent records towards the top of their conference, but against good teams, both teams don't have the best records. Games going to be on Friday, March 18th. Greenville, South Carolina. Tip-off is 3:10 p.m. Eastern. Spread's going here with USC 1.5 points. So it's closed as expected. I mean, this is almost a coin toss when you got the 7 versus 10 games or the 8 versus 9. I mean, they could easily go either way for sure. Over-under 139.5, and your BPI is going USC 53.7%. So Trojans are favored here, but not by a lot. Series history, USC leads at 2-0. Last game was several decades ago in 1992. Here's a stat comparison for this game. USC 72.6 points a game, 65.9 allowed. And then for your BPI, they're ranked 40th. And if you look at Miami in comparison, 74.8 points a game, 71 points allowed. So offensively, Miami's been good. Defensively, they're also good, but their offense has been putting up a decent amount of points, that's for sure, despite the defense allowing over 70. And the BPI is 56 for Miami. So USC is decently higher in the BPI versus where Miami's at. Some notable matchups as well. USC, of course, they lost to Arizona twice. Who was a 1 seed in this tournament and definitely the best team in the Pac-12. And then UCLA, though, UCLA is not far behind Arizona, if you ask me. I think the Bruins are definitely a dangerous team in this tournament. They could, I mean, don't be surprised if UCLA makes a run. They're a veteran team. They're in the Final Four last season, and they're only better. They've only gotten better versus where they were last year. So, but USC, they did beat them once. They're 1-2 against them this season. USC also beat San Diego State, who's an 8 seed in this tournament, by 15. They're 1-1 against Oregon and beat Washington State twice. And if you look at Miami, they beat Duke once, but lost to them once. Lost to Alabama by 32. I mean, that's a terrible loss for Miami. Definitely not an impressive one, that's for sure. Losing by 32 to, I mean, Alabama's a good basketball team for sure, but that is a hefty loss. They did beat North Carolina, though, by 28, so you can kind of see the inconsistency here. Miami's a good team that has performed well at times, but at the same time, they have had some ugly losses as well. Beat Virginia Tech once, lost to them once, and then lost to Notre Dame at one point this season by 4. Both Virginia Tech and Notre Dame are 11 seeds in this tournament. Some key points as well. USC 26-7 overall, one of the tallest teams in the nation. Definitely something to keep in mind here. That is going to help you a lot, especially going up against teams that are lower seeds that might not have that same height. But Miami does have some good height, so I mean that's not going to be a terribly significant advantage for USC, but USC is definitely one of the tallest teams in the nation, more so than Miami at least. But Isaiah Mobley, definitely one of the key players in this game for USC. This season he's averaged 14 points a game, but he also is a significant rebounder on this team, leads the team in rebounds per game. And so yeah, it's definitely, I mean, he's a key impact player in this game. He's going to be tough for Miami to deal with. But I mean, USC, this is a team, honestly, both these teams show big potential to make a tournament run. I think both these teams are kind of slept on by most people. I mean, USC and Miami are both really talented and kind of dark horses in each of their conferences. They've quietly had good seasons, and I definitely think Miami or USC, whichever team wins this game, definitely has got a chance to win a couple games and try to get deep into this tournament. But for Miami, 23-10, they've shown promise throughout the season, but have been a bit inconsistent. They've got plenty of close losses too. Definitely something to keep in mind here. I mean, their record is 23-10, but they have played a lot of close games, and they've had some close losses. That's for sure. They've had some close wins too, but I mean, if you flip a couple of those losses, which they could easily do so, I mean, this team could be like 25-8 or even 26-7 right now. So I mean, that would jump Miami up a couple of spots in the seeding chart, that's for sure. So I mean, you got two very evenly matched teams if you ask me. But honestly, I mean, is Miami a potential tournament dark horse? I think so, but honestly, both these teams are if you ask me. But that being said, let's get to the prediction here for USC and Miami coming up here in the first round of action. I'm going to go with the Hurricanes here. 66-63 is my predicted final score. I think Miami in the end, I mean, this is pretty much a coin toss. Both teams are extremely evenly matched. You got positives on USC. USC is a pretty tall basketball team and definitely have played well over the course of the season, despite them losing 3 of their last 4 games. And Miami, of course, being a team that has really shown a lot of promise and potentially is underachieved in the record this season. And I think Miami in the end is going to be very close, but I just see this one coming down to the very end in Miami. I believe that the Hurricanes are the slightly better team in this situation, and they're going to get the win here 66-63 percentage, 55% towards Miami, and your over-under is 139.5. So a pretty low line there, but I'm going to take the under for this game just barely at 139. So over-under, that's a tough one to predict for this one. It could definitely go either way for sure, and I do take Miami to cover the spread as well, which is currently 1.5 points towards USC. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below on this game, and I appreciate you guys watching as always. Stay tuned for more from All Sports Central. Catch you on the next one.